Hello everybody, this is Miss Begum. I am the lead for computer science at Chobham Academy, and today I'm here to tell you about my experience of being a female in STEM. Firstly, I'll give you some context about my background, and hopefully that should give you some ideas about certain battles I may have faced. So I am of Bangladeshi origin, and my parents are first generation migrants. Essentially, they were refugees fleeing many conflicts, and therefore survival ultimately was the reason for their coming to Britain. I am British born and actually have very little connection to Bangladesh. So growing up, there were some cultural conflicts I had to face. Luckily, my parents were very forward thinking and supportive of my own ideals. I am Muslim, and that forms a large part of my identity, and I found that even though there were cultural and generational differences between myself and parents, Islam was the thing that bound us, something that we could connect on. I have an extremely large family, and we are also very close to extended family, making it a huge support network and therefore making daily battles less strenuous. I have a personal love of sports, but more so boxing, and that was unheard of in my community. I personally train in Muay Thai boxing and was inspired by this person. Begum was someone I grew up with. In my community, people used to always talk about her in a negative way. They used to call her a rebel and say they couldn't understand why she would fight men. But I understood why. Never let anyone tell you you are less. She is now the world champion for Muay Thai boxing. So growing up was tough. We had the normal teenage battles, but then we had cultural limitations, curfews about times we had to be home, backlash from going out with friends. Luckily, I always had strong parents who continually fought back on any oppressive ideas. My dad always told me the walls that restrict you are the walls that you build yourself. There were very few females in sport, especially from my community. Me and my sister were very good at football and netball, and we have the medals to prove it. But I didn't believe back then that I could make a career out of sport, which is one of my regrets. My love of sciences stemmed from just a general interest of seeing females like myself breaking boundaries, like Anusha Ansari, who was the first woman in space, and Hayat Sindhi, the first female biotechnologist to address the whole scientific council. In terms of my career, I have worked in a wide range of sectors, and that's the beauty of STEM. Your opportunities are so broad. Wherever you are, you're guaranteed to find something that you love. I started working in Sports World International, which is what it was called back then. I was in charge of the till maintenance and the old payment system called PDP. It meant that transactions were manual and not automated. It was not my favourite job. I then got the same role at Superdrug, where I got free makeup and perfume, so I did enjoy working there. I then got a job at a law firm called J. Varder & Co., where I had to build a database system for them. They were moving over from paper-based filing to an electronic-based system, and I got lots of paper cuts, and who would have known that paper could be so heavy? When I graduated, I worked for Deutsche Bank. Although it was an upgrade from the law firm, I felt very lonely. I spent most of the day in an office stuck by myself. They did pay well. I have worked short term at Network Rail, and although it was a lot of fun, I couldn't do the job long term as I had other priorities and the jobs were not consistent. And most recently, I have supported Spotify at a recruitment drive for females run by a company called Apps for Good. This was voluntary work, but probably one of the most enjoyable things I have done. So why computer science? You can learn about a wide range of cultures. Girls are statistically better than boys. Because there is such a diverse range of jobs, you are more likely to find something you love. There are a lot of paid studies that you can earn as you learn. Skills are transferable to any role and even personal life. Basically, we need women in industry because they are good at those jobs. The pay is good and you can travel all over the world. There are always jobs available and you are more likely to find something that you love. What was it like in year 9? I had no idea what I wanted to do. We didn't have a solid careers team to support or guide us. Because of the learned ideals from my community, I didn't really care about my future because I assumed I would just get married and have kids. As a teenager, naturally your body goes through so many changes that it was difficult anyway. And then I was battling self-esteem issues about the colour of my skin, as I was consistently compared to my fairer skinned sisters. I generally had different priorities with my mum's ill health and a very young brother to take care of. What I knew was I needed to become someone that made changes to my own life. I just didn't know how to get there. I wanted to be someone who made an impact. I then met Sir Trevor MacDonald, who was the first black newsreader. I have actually met him a couple of times now, as well as Yasmin Alibi Brown, another inspirational person. Sir Trevor told us if we want it bad enough, it can be done. You just have to commit to the sacrifices. Basically, work hard, and it might mean you need to compromise at certain points. My career's advice to you is to find your vision, your goal. Make sure it is something that you love and work your way slowly to do it. Nothing comes for free, and happiness and success doesn't come immediately. Finally, to leave you hopefully inspired, you may recognize some of these faces. Read their stories. Remember that you can.